Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Prozilix, who says, "Am I the arsehole here for missing my cousin's wedding for my girlfriend, best friends? My girlfriend of 4 years, best friend, is getting married in 30 days. Both are probably each other's number one best friend for probably 10 plus years. The wedding has been planned 2 years in advance and has been known since. Last year in December, my cousin at a family meet revealed he's getting married and asked if people could attend the wedding. He reveals they are thinking about a specific date, which I mentioned they have a wedding I'm committed to on that exact date and don't believe I could attend. He was understanding and said that it was on him for not planning out the wedding sooner, as it was around 8 months away from then. Saw him one more time since my grandmother's brunch, where he asked again who is coming. And I mentioned the previous wedding that I am already RSVP'd for, but I said I will try to make time if possible. 2 weeks ago, he sent the actual wedding invite with a time and place and has been asking all parties to RSVP by 1st of August. Both weddings are at the same time, around 1 hour 10 minutes apart in distance. My plan was to maybe leave after the ceremony/dinner of my girlfriend friend to make it to the after/celebration of his to at least make an appearance until his is over. I've spoken to my girlfriend friend who's getting married about her wedding, and she was obviously a little annoyed and upset about me already RSVPing and conflicted about what to attend. Mind you, I see this cousin maybe 1 to 2 times a year. Sometimes go without seeing him in 2 years, but when we were younger we saw him a lot more often/grew up together when we could hang out. Last night I RSVP'd no to his wedding and didn't leave a note on the wedding website because he already knew about my pre-existing wedding plans and felt like I didn't need to restate what he knew. Today he first texts my mum, his dad's sister, saying how shameful I am for not attending his wedding, how I'm going to some girlfriend's wedding, talking about my girlfriend and other things related to what he texts me below. I don't have the exact text to share as my mum read it to me over a phone call. My mum shared what he said to her about me to her mum, his/my grandma, and both of them couldn't believe the way he spoke about me. He texts me a long paragraph at the same time he texts my mother. "Hey, me, it's your cousin, him. I can't believe you'd actually decline to go to your own cousin's wedding to go to your girlfriend's best friend's wedding. I understand she's in a wedding, but her best friend is not your family. I also understand that we haven't been close in years, but dude, we grew up together and spent so much of our lives together. And you're still family. It just shows your lack of care and concern here, and that you don't give two shits. Not even a comment left on the not, just a straight decline. I'm sorry, but that's super fake and I'm disappointed and in ulterior disbelief. I hope it's worth missing your family for some girl's best friend that may or may not be the one." I responded, "Hey, I didn't mean to come off as a lack of care or concern. I saw your deadline of RSVP was close, so I had to make a decision. I've given it a lot of thought and wanted to be there. The issue is I've known about this other wedding for 2 years, been RSVP'd since last year. If I had known before, I'd have declined the other wedding. When I found out, I've been debating with what to do. I thought it wasn't fair to back out of the wedding. I mentioned your wedding to the other bride and she was very upset about me debating whether to cancel attending her wedding. My girlfriend and I have been together for 4 years, and she's been mutually number one best friends with this girl her whole life. I'm also somewhat acquaintances with her. I've tried to do the math on timing, but both your weddings are the same time, a little over an hour apart in distance. I wouldn't mind driving if there's time after the ceremony/dinner to make an appearance for the rest of the night at your wedding. I just knew that I couldn't make the ceremony/dinner portion of the wedding in time for how far they are apart. That's why I RSVP'd no. I didn't leave a note because I assumed you would know why I couldn't attend because I mentioned it the last 2 times we have seen each other." Nah, and the cousin's just being absolutely ridiculous here because OP told him when the date was first mentioned that he already had a wedding commitment that day, and the cousin literally acknowledged that he left his own planning late. Then the invitation itself doesn't arrive until 6 weeks before the wedding, yet suddenly OP is the fake and doesn't care about family because he didn't drop plans that he made 2 years ago. And OP was doing their best to try and work out compromising, working out if he could drive over afterwards, which is already more hoop jumping than I'd have been doing after receiving that text. The bloody cheeky so-and-so, right? A commenter says, "Not the arsehole, but you over-explained. Might have been better to just say, You've known since your first announcement that I was committed already, and you acknowledged it was your fault for planning late. It's disappointing you decide to try and shame me via the family after the fact, but regardless, I wish you the very best in a joyous wedding. And let it go and be done with all the talk about trying to juggle things, etc. As that just makes you look defensive and weak. Stand tall. You're in the right, so carry yourself like it. Have a great time at the wedding you are going to. Another commenter says your response to him was too nice and too detailed. Say, hi, I'm disappointed you would message me like this. We spoke about this a number of times and I told you I already had a previous wedding commitment. I also don't appreciate you speaking about my partner like that, and I hope you do better in that regard in the future. Yes, I read your message to my mother. How awful you'd contact her like that. Have a good wedding. Another commenter says, you have a pre-existing commitment that day. Not the arsehole. And one more says, not the arsehole. In the end, it's your decision, and since you knew about this other wedding and communicated that to your cousin in advance, I don't see the issue in saying you're not able to go. You responded maturely to the situation. It sucks, but it is what it is. So OP does update the post and says, for those who are interested in my post, this is a small epilogue to the story. I personally haven't received any text in response to mine from my cousin. Honestly, not really bothered about the situation and not feeling guilty, just amused about his actions to everything. We're both around 28 to 29 years old. I don't think you should be this pressed when people have their own prior commitments/lives if their schedules can't align with yours. Final parts to the story. Stopped by my parents' house last night and my mother told me my cousin has been still texting her, complaining about me missing his wedding for some girl that may or not be the one friend. She's responded back to him multiple times asking him to stop texting her. Obviously he read my message, didn't respond, and still went and complained to my mum. Lol. My mum mentioned to him if he kept it up they'd be debating on attending themselves, and he said, why would you do that? He's acting very close-minded and thinks everyone else should agree with his side. Probably won't be sending a gift or trying to make an appearance unless he can act mature and apologize. Also, I'm hearing that his/my uncle and cousins, my mum's second brother, aren't attending, and that a large chunk of my cousin's friends can't make his wedding and are RSVPing no. Mind you, he sent out the wedding invites a month and a half out and expected a response by his 3-week deadline of sending them. Just seems like a mess of poor planning, which him and his sister literally mention that they need to lock in the last 2 times I saw him. Lol. Answer to some previous questions. I'm a guy. Thought this was obvious. He comes from good money, so wasn't expecting something crazy from me. I didn't have to follow my girlfriend. It's the principle that I already had RSVP'd and made prior plans that I'm honoring, especially this close to the dates. Someone mentioned about an outside party influencing him. I think his sister has been putting things in his head. Those who mentioned about other people not being able to make it are probably correct, and he's taking it out on me. And yes, I'm an over-explainer. Lol. Some commenters on the back of this says, he's not old enough to get married if he went to your parents' house to tell your mummy. Another commenter says, who the fuck sends invitations 2 weeks before the wedding? Not the arsehole here. Your cousin is a dullard. Commenter says, you should text him to stop whining to your mummy. She won't make you go. Lol. I really enjoy the way that the mum replied to the cousin in this. Stop texting me or I'm not coming either kind of thing. I thought fair play. There's a little part of me that wishes OP did go to the wedding because I just got the feeling that it is going to be a shit show. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from Holly2321 from the relationships subreddit and says, my 25 female husband's 27 male old friend, 25 male, told me my husband is gay. I went to one of my husband's friend's wedding reception yesterday. We were sitting at our table when a man who I didn't recognize, and I know pretty much all of my husband's friends, came over to our table greeting my husband. They met like they hadn't seen each other in a long time. My husband even said to him, wow, you look good. He was smiling a lot. His friend even said, I love your beard. Wish you had grown it out a bit earlier when I told you to. And then turned slightly into my direction and I smiled. And then my husband introduced us quite hesitantly saying, this is my wife. I didn't think much of it, except for the odd way my husband looked at him. Although maybe every fitness trainer looks at other fit men like that. I don't know. The friend gave me a weird look, and it got pretty awkward. It took a few seconds for him to smile and introduce himself, saying my husband got him started at the gym about a year ago or something. Then they both left to meet some other friends. When we were leaving the reception, The friend comes up to me while my husband was saying goodbye to the groom. He said, "I don't know whether I should be telling you this or not, but your husband is gay. Take my word for it. I am too." And then he said sorry and left speed walking away. I was left in utter shock and I couldn't and still can't tell if he was being serious or not. I kept silent until this morning. I had my suspicions something was up a year after we got married and he was getting too close to his male clients. I used to see him getting really close to some of them while I was at the gym too. When he got pissed that I didn't want to go to last year's Pride Parade. The fact that he doesn't want kids and keeps saying, "Not now." The fact that he jerks off way more than we have sex and will do it right after he says he's not in the mood. But then I brushed it off thinking that it was normal for him. So this morning I told him what his friend said to me and he became really angry. Started swearing at him, the friend, repeatedly before leaving the house and he's not back yet. Not returning my texts or phone calls. I drove over to the gym and he's not there either. He's been gone since 11 a.m. What do I do? TLDR, husband friend tells me my husband is gay. I confront him and he left the house and still isn't back. An edit. He still isn't back. It's been 24 hours now. I don't know where he is. I've called his friends, his co-workers and everyone I possibly can who'd know where he is. I'm very worried. So one of the top commenters is quoted saying his friend even said, "I love your beard. Wish you'd grown it out a bit earlier when I told you to," and then turned slightly in my direction. The commenter then says, "I'm 98% sure this is a pun." There were some commenters below this saying they don't understand what that means, and someone clarified saying, "Say someone is gay, but they aren't out yet. Their beard would be a person of the opposite sex that they are dating, married to, etc. to lead others astray from thinking they're gay." Another commenter clarifying saying a beard is a term for an opposite sex partner that a gay person is involved with or pretends to be involved with in an attempt to pass for straight. The beard might just be a platonic friend and know about it and act the part to support their friend, or they can be romantic partners who don't have any idea that this is their function. Commenter says, "This happened to me with my ex-husband before we were married, except the gay dude he was fucking wasn't courteous enough to warn me. Had to find out years later, after we were married. I'm really sorry. I know what a punch in the gut this is." Commenter says, "Yikes, I think you've got your answer. Your husband got angry about this, being outed. I'd go and talk to a divorce lawyer ASAP, see what this means for you. I mean, it sounds like your husband isn't even denying this. I'm betting this guy is one of the guys that your husband dated / screwed behind your back, as gross as that is. Hence the surprise in the quick confession. That guy is a pretty nice guy. He must not have known you existed. I'm so sorry your husband did this to you. It's super disrespectful." Another commenter says he's off confronting his friend. He may come home with bruised knuckles or a bloody nose. Your husband could be bi or could have explored his sexuality. As long as it happened before you got together, it shouldn't be an issue. He chose to be with you. The only details to press your husband on is to find out if and when they were involved. That will let you know if it's an issue and whether there was any infidelity. Commenter says, "Hello, I'm a bisexual person, here with your friendly reminder that bi people exist. He could be into men and still 100% into you, always and forever. It's like being attracted to people of more than one race. It doesn't affect your ability to be happily monogamous one way or the other. However, if he's flirting or more, not clear with people outside the marriage, that is not okay, no matter what his orientation or the other people's genders." And one more commenter that says, "Wow, so sorry this happened to you. Well, the best possible outcome would be the following. Your husband is bi and the friend was an ex. Your husband loves you and only stormed off to chew out the friend for telling you bullshit. When he comes back, he will tell you the whole story. Honestly, don't think he cheated on you with this guy. He would not have stayed that calm." Now, for me, when I was first reading it, I was thinking, oh, maybe he's just bisexual. But when we got to them comments talking about the beard potentially being a pun, I was like, oh shit. Followed by immediately looking at OP and then the awkward introduction of, this is my wife. It read very differently then to me, which might not be right. I just don't know. But combining that with the husband's reaction and disappearing for 24 hours rather than actually denying or explaining anything, I'd be seriously concerned as well. Because if OP has unknowingly been used as a beard for their marriage, that's so brutal and so devastating. But OP does come in with an update and says, "I wrote the update a few days ago, but the auto moderator kept removing it because I accidentally deleted the first update, so it thought I was reposting. Since a lot of you were wondering what happened, after not being home since 11 a.m. till the next day at 7 p.m, I went to my mum's place around 5ish because I was so shaken. I was going to have a panic attack. I called everyone who I thought would know where he is, but no one did. I was thinking about filing a missing persons report like some of you said, but by that time it was 7, and he called me saying he was home and literally hung up the phone. I got there as fast as I could. I get in the house and most of his shit is packed, so I assume he came in before. I started crying and he just sat on the couch while I yelled at him. He said absolutely nothing. Just when I started feeling bad, the friend we saw at the wedding comes out of my bedroom holding boxes. I lost it and yelled at him, called him every fucking name in the book. My husband tried telling me to stop, but I told him I wouldn't until he told me what was going on. I told him to tell his friend to get out of my house so we could discuss it. So he left. I asked him if he was gay, and he said he is, but didn't know how to deal with it. Apparently he has married me because I was in love with him and he felt bad. When I asked if he cheated on me, he said yes, with the same friend. They met at a bar and slept together. The friend didn't know he was married and wanted a relationship. My husband said he fell in love with him and wanted to be with him, but couldn't, so they drifted apart a year later. The wedding was the time they met after all that time, and that's when he realized my husband was married. He told me he initially left to give his friend Matthew a piece of his mind for telling me, but I'm assuming he went there, fucked him, and then they took a shower and slept together because he was dressed in someone else's clothes and clearly looked well slept and fine. Better than before, actually. Well, I looked like an absolute mess with bags under my eyes and my face was fucking breaking out. I've never been so infuriated and sad in my entire life. I've absolutely no energy left in me. I told him to take his stuff and we're getting divorced. And all he said was, I'm sorry it had to be this way, but at least be a little nicer to Matthew for forcing me to come out so we can each be happier. So he clearly cares more about him than he ever did about me, and I'm apparently a pity case. He left with his new boyfriend and I'm certain they're moving in together now. I've been sitting on my bed crying my eyes out and having a massive headache since then. I really don't know how to live without him. I love him, and despite all of that, he's done so many amazing things and I honestly can't let go. I don't live at our place anymore, even though he said I could have the house. I've been staying at my mum's place because everything reminds me of him. Before he left, he told me he did love me, just in a different way. I don't know what to do anymore. Thanks for all the kind words and advice. It was comforting to read. When he was expecting her to be nicer to his affair partner, I just thought, you cheeky bastard. And then bringing the guy in, and the guy's choice as well, to come in and start packing up those things at the same time. I just thought, bloody hell. But the top commenter on this says, as a gay man, your future ex-husband is the kind of man I wouldn't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. It's never okay to commit to someone when you're not sure of who you are or what you want. And one more comment who says, who the hell brings their new love interest to help move stuff out of the house while breaking up with his wife? On top of the deceit, this struck me as such a cowardly, mean and selfish thing to do. At the very least, he should have had a long conversation with OP and explained himself and let her have all her questions answered, instead of bringing the new boyfriend and having him present for the whole thing. What a jerk. OP, I'm sure it hurts like hell, but if there's a silver lining here, it's that you are still young and don't have children. Give yourself time to grieve and confide in someone you trust. I wish you all the best. But now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from the True Off My Chest subreddit from Heartbreak Account 313 and says, it turns out I should have been worried about the friend of my fiance that everyone told me not to worry about. This is hard for me to write. The man that I thought was the love of my life has decided to be someone else instead. They grew up together. Their families are close. When I first met him, I was wary because of how close they are, but he, along with everyone else who knows them, assured me that there is nothing between them. They are like brother and sister, and I was stupid enough to believe it. Last week, I was assaulted at my job. One of my eyes is swollen shut and it hurts like hell. I'm a nurse and I was assaulted by a patient that I had administered naloxone to. I'm at home resting. My fiance was with me until he found out that his close friend was in a small car accident. A van backed into her in a car park. She wasn't even inside, but my fiance lost it when he found out. He left our flat to be with her, even though she was with her boyfriend. She wasn't hurt, but my fiance said he thought she was, and it made him realize that he loves her and can't lose her. He told me he confessed his love to her, and she said she feels the same, and it broke something inside me. I didn't even know why I'm writing this. It won't bring him back. Commenter says, why would you want him back? He's in love with someone else. Good riddance. Better now than after getting married. Opie says I love him. I know it's stupid, but I thought he was the love of my life and I miss him so much, even though it hasn't even been a week since he left me. I miss him so much. Epiphany, King of Sorrow says, I'm so sorry you were assaulted. Hope that the patient sees charges. Change of pace in the comments. Don't be sad and heartbroken. Be glad and be determined now. He may have sworn love to her, but I don't think it's returned, no matter what he said. Remember, she has a boyfriend. I would ask said boyfriend if he knows about the situation, because chances are he doesn't. Before anyone tells you not to say anything, if the shoe was on the other foot, wouldn't you want the boyfriend to let you know if he found out your boyfriend was confessing his love to his girlfriend? Then, if I were you, all the people who said you shouldn't worry, I'd cut them off. I wouldn't even message them. Finally, I'd go out and eat and enjoy myself because I need to celebrate someone removing himself in my life. Opie says she does feel the same. Her boyfriend told me she broke up with him. He's not staying in their flat any longer because my fiancé is there now. Edit. I appreciate the Reddit cares messages I'm getting. I promise I'm not that bad. I have no plans to go down that road, but I appreciate that everyone wants to help. Commenter says, make sure everyone, especially the ones who said not to worry, knows why you're splitting up. Be specific and intentional, and make it clear that he's romantically pursuing someone once viewed as a sibling. I've been in your shoes, albeit we weren't yet engaged. He tried so hard to convince me she wasn't a threat. I believed him. Even allowed her to move in with us and let her girlfriend move in too. It took 8 months for them to cheat together. Less than 24 hours for me to find out. And I was over and out maybe within the week after the three of them tried to convince me to stay and continue contributing to bills. Oh, and they kicked me out of my own bed. TLDR, run. Bloody cheeky sods trying to convince you to stay to contribute to the bills. Opie responded to him, my fiancée is staying in her flat and she broke up with her boyfriend. Everyone knows that they are together now. They're not hiding it. Everyone knows, and hearing people talk about them hurts so much. The OP came back into the post 4 months later and says, I heard that my ex-fiancé proposed to her. His family, her family and our friends are all over the moon about them being together. No thought for me or her ex-boyfriend and our lives being torn apart. I've only seen and spoken to her ex-boyfriend once since the incident I mentioned in my other post. Wherever he is, I just hope he is doing well. Imagine my ex and his ex saying it wasn't cheating because they left us first, as if that makes it better. After my ex-fiancé left, I had to deal with cancelling everything for our wedding and getting our flat sorted out and signing a new lease. I had to block him and everyone who kept telling me it was fate or they were meant to be together. I'm trying to move on, but I don't know how. I thought I'd be marrying the love of my life tomorrow, but instead he wants to marry someone else. Also, I don't know if anyone will care about this, but I had to turn off my ability to receive chats. I received several telling me that my assault was deserved or that my attacker was right. Fucking, what is wrong with people, man, honestly? Opie continues, I got tired of seeing those notifications, so I turned it off. Edit. So thank you to everyone who's sending me Reddit care messages, but I'm alright for that. None of those thoughts or intentions. That's really annoying, and the we left them first so it wasn't cheating excuse is absolute bullshit and isn't working for me at all. Those feelings clearly just didn't appear overnight. He heard she'd been in a minor accident and immediately left his injured fiancée to rush to her and confess that he loved her. And she immediately said she loved him too, dumped her boyfriend and moved OP's fiancée into their home. Maybe nothing physical happened before the breakups, but it certainly sounds like there had been feelings between them for a long time. That didn't just happen quickly, and everyone calling it fate while OP has left cancelling her wedding and picking up the pieces just makes it worse and it takes the piss. And for OP to have to watch all this, them being all happy and everyone else being all happy when OP's been concerned about this for a very long time is just incredibly cruel. I hope OP does take the advice, treats themselves and moves on with a head held high. I know that's easy for me to say. I haven't had to live that experience and OP's gone through it, but she clearly deserves better than a situation like this. One of the top commenters says to OP, there's nothing more than I hate that people who look at something like this and only see rainbows and sunshine. It is an incredibly entitled and privileged place to see the world from. No one wants to be uncomfortable, so they keep telling you to make peace with it so they don't have to be uncomfortable with the fact that a good person does bad things. These two good people ruin the lives of genuinely good people. In the future, ruin the lives might be hyperbole. But right now, that is your experience and that is what's happening. No one in this world gets to tell you that your feelings are invalid. In my world, he's a monster for making you deal with cancelling everything for the wedding. That should have been his responsibility. He should have taken that off your shoulders so that you could have healed from his betrayal. Please go to therapy. It's not the end. I'll be all for the things getting better, but I promise you an unbiased place to talk about the grief that you're experiencing, the betrayal that you're experiencing, will be better than having to fight off your so-called friends and well-meaning idiots. And from the very bottom of my heart, all these people need to go fuck themselves. That includes the people telling you that this is fate, that you're going to be better off. Shut up. No one in her position wants to hear about that right now. Let her grieve. Lots of people in the comments suspecting that they will cheat on each other at some point in the future too, but what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me, so thank you so much for being here. Truly is absolutely amazing, and hopefully I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.